your insight. We will, of course, be across all of the developments from the Russia-Ukraine war and the wider ramifications. We move now to South America, where President Javier Milei says that Argentina's economy will grow like never before after securing a $20 billion deal with the International Monetary Fund. The support comes from three major institutions, also including $12 billion from the World Bank and $10 billion from the Inter-American Development Bank. Let's listen in to what President Milei has said.
Han quedado asentadas las bases para la estabilidad y el crecimiento sostenido para el mediano y largo plazo. De aquí en más, la economía real de los argentinos mejorará en el marco de dicha estabilidad y crecerá como nunca antes.
Well, Milei has also gone on to say that the country is poised to have the strongest economic growth of the next 30 years. Argentinian Finance Minister Luis Caputo confirmed that $19 billion is expected to land in Buenos Aires within 60 days, including an immediate $12 billion from the IMF tranche to help stabilize the peso. The World Bank has already pledged $1.5 billion in near-term funds. IMF chief Kristalina Georgieva praised Milei's impressive progress, calling the programme a vote of confidence in his aggressive economic reforms. Milei, a self-described anarcho-capitalist, has pushed deep spending cuts and deregulation. This influx of support marks a major political win as he aims to revive Argentina's battered economy. Back to North America, and President Donald Trump is voicing strong support for the US dollar, calling it the world's currency of choice during a conversation with reporters aboard Air Force One on Friday evening. His comments come despite the dollar falling for a fifth consecutive day as markets respond to ongoing global uncertainties and trade tensions. Still, the president projected confidence in the greenback's global dominance, saying, "We're always going to be." Let's listen in to him.
That with the currency of choice, we're always going to be. This one means you have somebody smart. And you know what? If a nation said we're not going to be on the dollar, I would tell you that within about one phone call, they would be back on the dollar. You always have to keep the dollar. No, the dollar is.
He also addressed current trade negotiations, particularly with China, saying the United States is in a very good position and predicting a positive resolution to the ongoing disputes. Trump offered reassurance on the bond market as well. He said the market had a little movement, but insisted that he has resolved the issue swiftly. To the Middle East now, and Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for launching 2 drones aimed at military targets in Tel Aviv on Friday evening. According to the Israeli military, one of the drones was intercepted by the Israeli Air Force, while the second never made it into Israeli airspace. Israeli media reports say the second drone was taken down over Jordan, crashing near the Dead Sea, while Jordanian authorities have confirmed the incident, saying that no injuries were reported. The Houthi military spokesman called the attack a strategic move in solidarity with the Palestinian people as tensions continue to escalate. This comes amid a growing pattern of Houthi strikes on US interests since Israel intensified its air campaign in Gaza last month. Well, staying in the Middle East, the United Nations has confirmed that 36 Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have killed only women and children as Israel's military offensive continues. Between March the 18th and April the 9th, the UN documented 224 incidents of Israeli attacks on residential buildings and tents for displaced people. Ravina Shamadisi, the UN human rights spokesperson, emphasised that a large percentage of fatalities are women and children. She condemned Israel's expanding evacuation orders, which are leading to forced displacement. Shamdasani called the attacks a violation of international law, warning that these actions are making it impossible for civilians to find safety. Let's listen in.
Between the 18th of March and the 9th of April this year, there were some 224 incidents of Israeli strikes on residential buildings and tents for internally displaced people. In some 36 strikes, about which we were able to corroborate information, the fatalities recorded were only women and children.
Well, meanwhile, Red Cross chief Mirjana Spoljaric called Gaza hell on earth as the ongoing Israeli military assault continues to devastate the region. She highlighted the severe humanitarian crisis, with civilians bearing the brunt of Israel's military operations. The situation worsens daily, 100,000 people displaced by evacuation orders. Moving on, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan accused Israel of trying to dynamite Syria's December the 8th revolution, which toppled longtime leader Bashar al-Assad. Speaking at a diplomacy forum in Antalya, Erdoğan claimed Israel was fueling ethnic and religious divisions in the new government. Let's hear what Erdoğan has said.
İsrail özellikle Lübnan'a ve Suriye'ye yönelik saldırılarıyla bölgenin istikrarını doğrudan tehdit eden sorunlu bir ülkeye dönüşüyor. İsrail'in saldırıları DAEŞ'la mücadele çabalarını da sekteye uğratıyor. Suriye'de etnik ve dini aidiyetleri kaşıyarak ülkedeki azınlıkları hükümete karşı kışkırtarak 8 Aralık devrimini dinamitlemeye çalışıyor.
Turkey backs new Syrian leader Ahmed al-Sharaa, whose Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham led the coalition that ousted Assad. HTS is a designated terrorist organisation by the US, the UN and the EU. Erdoğan's comments come as Turkish and Israeli officials meet in Azerbaijan for rare talks amid ongoing global tensions. Israel has launched airstrikes and ground operations to push Syrian forces away from its borders, sparking friction with Turkey. Despite the talks, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan warned that no normalisation of relations is in sight, especially as Turkey maintains a trade ban with Israel and continues to denounce its war in Gaza. Erdoğan condemned a recent Israeli airstrike in Khan Yunis that reportedly killed 10 family members, calling it barbaric. The US Department of Homeland Security has announced it will end temporary protected status, or TPS, for thousands of Afghan and Cameroonian nationals. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem determined that conditions in both countries no longer meet the requirements for protection under the programme. Around 14,600 Afghans will lose their status in May, followed by nearly 8,000 Cameroonians in June. TPS offers protection from deportation and access to work permits, usually for up to 18 months. The move comes the same day as a US judge ruled that the Trump administration could deport a student detained for participating in pro-Palestinian protests. DHS officials say the decision on TPS followed a thorough review of conditions in both countries. Well, that's all we have time for, but we will continue more of the latest